Photoshop tutorial on the power of dodge and burn. Hi, I'm Joel Grimes with the Joel Grimes Academy, and we're going to talk about a Photoshop tutorial on the power of dodge and burn. I think one of the most underused tools, or I guess you'd say techniques, in skin retouching is the dodge and burn. And I think part of it is people have learned it the wrong way. So what I want to do is I want to show you, it's a little quick tutorial on how I use the dodge and burn, how easy it is, and how powerful it is. All right, so let's get started. Here we have a picture of Bryce, and I'm going to blow this up a little bit here. Shot with a 35mm 1.4, the new Canon version 2 lens. It's strobed outdoors, overpowering the sun. I believe at this point I used an ND filter. I do that with high-speed sync also, but an ND filter, so I have a ultra shallow depth of field, which is really kind of a fun way to approach a portrait. So you can see the blue sky, so that's how I overpower the sun, is getting the exposure so that the background has got a really clean value of exposure, not blown out. And this is more of a portrait approach, not a lifestyle approach. And then of course, I have one light over the top. It's the 24-inch Westcott Beauty Dish. And I think you can see the behind the scenes of me shooting this on the Westcott website. They have under their educational, I think they have me shooting this thing. So anyways, let's look at I brought this file in and just did a real slight, just picked up like one or two little things right there. Bryce has absolutely gorgeous skin. I remember when I posted this, people said, oh my gosh, nobody has that perfect skin. This girl does. She's absolutely amazing. I use her a lot. In a lot of the workshops that I do, she is one of the models. So let me show you how I set that up. So first of all, and I did just a slight desaturation because shooting with an ND filter, there's a little color cast, and this is my approach. I would say I'm colorblind, but this is what I like right here, the way I've set it up right now. So I've done very minimal. In fact, it was about maybe a 1 minute or 2 minute of retouching to sort of prepare this file. So I just want to give you that heads up on I did that. So I'm going to create a blank layer. So Shift Command N gives me a blank or new layer, and I am going to take the blending mode to overlay. Most of you know this technique. Fill it with 50% gray and say okay. So there is my blank layer, and the reason why that works is because overlay punches a hole right through gray. So now instead of having a blank layer, I have something that it can adhere to. If there's something there, but the blending mode allows it to punch a hole right through it. So blending modes like overlay, soft light, hard light, vivid light, all this group right here punch a hole through gray. So just in case, 50% gray. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a black and white layer. So we go down to the adjustment layer here and a black and white layer. Now the reason why I want to do that is it takes the color out. So I'm dodging and burning. I want to see the values. It kind of helps me visualize where I want the tones to be. So I'm going to go back. That's just for reference. It's not for the final. But we'll turn it on and off, toggle on and off to kind of see how I'm doing. So let's go over to the new layer. We're going to just title this DB, Dodge and Burn, just so you know. All right. I am going to get my dodge and burn tool. So I'm going to start with the dodge tool. If we go up here at the top, you'll see the range. I want my midtones and my exposure to be 3%. Now, this is where I think, oh, by the way, and also check mark protect tones, okay? But I think this is where a lot of people go wrong, and that is because they set this too high. They go to 10% or whatever. Very rarely do I ever get above, like, say, 4 or 5%. Usually it's at 3%, and a lot of times I'll even go to 1%. So let me show you why that's important. Because you want to build up the values subtly, not at one big stroke. And I think that's, again, where people go wrong. So we're back on our dodge and burn layer. I'm on my dodge tool, and another little trick is this. When I take my finger and I hit the keyboard that says Alt or Option on it, it will automatically switch to whatever the opposite is. So if I'm on dodge, it'll go to burn. If I'm on burn, it'll go to dodge. It won't show that, it won't toggle over here, but it will in fact go from dodge and burn. So this is how I go really fast. So at 3%, I'm on dodge, And I'm going to take out, we're going to take out this little wobble right here. So we're going to paint along here. And we're going to paint along here just a little bit, just light strokes. And then I hit my Option Alt, and I'm going to burn right along here. I'm going to feather that in right here. There's a little spot there. We'll feather that in, just a little spot right there. Okay, just touch it up a little bit. So already I've barely done anything but look at the difference. That takes that little wobble on the side of her cheek out. Let's go over here and do the same thing. We'll make the brush a little bit bigger. And I have that shortcut on my Wacom, this little toggle here to go make my brush bigger and smaller. Most people don't do that. I did that from, 8-10 years ago. Somehow I set it to that and I've never taken it off. So you may have a different way. You can do the bracket keys or whatever. All right, so we're going to now hit the Option Alt, and I'm going to burn right along here. And I'm going to burn just a little bit there. Now she has really hollow cheeks, and because I shot this with a 24-inch beauty dish very close to her, about 24 inches or so, it hollows the cheeks. And so I think women like that. So let's go down here. I'm going to just take out a little bit of that, burn that in just a little bit. And we got a little bit of a dark spot here, so I'm going to dodge that back, burn that down. I'm just going to, whoops, I went too far, so Command Z. So here we hit it again. Hold the Option down. I'm going to burn that down just a little bit along here. And we're going to dodge this little spot right again, back even further. Now just feather this going right into the chin just a little bit there. I think that's a little too much there. We're going to go back to that. And so what I do a lot of times is I'll work on an area, then I'll let go of it for a second, go to another area, come back to it, because my eye gets so used to looking at it, I start to not see certain things. So let's go along here. I might just smooth out that little spot right there on her nose. And I mean, this is very subtle, but very powerful. So I haven't even touched her eyes yet, but we'll come in here in just a second. Let's go to the forehead and see what we've got up here. Looks pretty clean. You can get it because it's a shallow depth of field. I might just throw this back just a little bit and then hold down the burn option, burn that in. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick here that I've showed other photographers, and they kind of scratch their head, but it really works. I am going to go down really small. So I'm going to go Command minus down, and I'm going to look at this really backed up. And in doing so, I see a wobble I didn't see before. So right along here, it's got a little bit of a dark patch. We're going to smooth that out. We're still on our dodge and burn. We're still on the dodge part. And there's areas I don't see when I zoom in. So when I go and make it really small, I can see it. So there's a little highlight right there. I didn't see that before. So we're going to just burn that in. I'm holding down the Option. I'm going to burn this little area right here just subtly. And what I want is smooth transitions to make her look, she's gorgeous, or I'm just making her even more gorgeous. There's a little patch right there that's a little dark. I'm going to darken this one spot here to smooth that out. There's a little bit of a dark patch there. Maybe I'll smooth that out and dodge that just slightly. So I'm going to tell you, I'll try to remember to tell you when I hit burn. So there's burn, burn, dodge. So I'm letting go. We're going to go back here and just finish it. I did this already, but when I back away, I can see that I need just a little more fine tuning. And maybe we'll dodge that back, dodge that back, dodge that back. Now, you're probably seeing it really small here, and again, and my little cursor is hard to see too, but I'm just telling you, this is how I do it. I'm going to show you the before and after here in a second. Now, I'm going to turn the black and white off. And then I'll maybe blow it up, take a look at it. Maybe this little section right here just need to come down just a slight in value, just to smooth out that section there. So I haven't done any cloning. I haven't done any, moving pixels around and you know, some of the techniques that we all use, the frequency separation, all that stuff. This is just subtly smoothing out the skin with only dodge and burn. So the reason why this is so powerful is because I'm not moving pixels. I'm not taking this skin and moving it over here. Like, there's a couple little spots in here. If you really blow it up, I can fix. So like, I would fix that little spot right there. Of course, I would do that through frequency separation, which I have a whole tutorial on. Just look it up. But when it comes to just the subtlety of her skin and manipulating it to where she just looks absolutely gorgeous, dodge and burn has so many things I can do with it in terms of power. So there's a little line right there to highlight. So I'm going to burn that down just to finish that off. There's a little dark spot there. It may be hard for you to see this on because we're doing a video, but I'm just now subtly fixing every little wobble. So everyone's skin has wobble. I have a lot. At 61 years old, boy, I could use some serious work. But even the most beautiful models on the planet are going to have a little bit of wobble, and we have the power to fix that. Now again, you say, how far should I go? Well, that is up to you as an artist and also for your client. So let me do this. I'm going to just brighten the eyes a little bit. And I could do this on a separate layer, but I do this, watch this. I count usually 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just spinning and I go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I give it the exact same amount of time. So maybe I just take that one little area right there and fix that. So let's just dodge this back just a little bit there and a little bit inside this eye right here. So let's show you the before and after. So there is the after and there's the before. So we're looking at the before. Watch me click, after. See how powerful that is? We're going to zoom in and do that. Ready? So that's the finished, or I say this part finished, and then there's the before, there's the after. See how it just fills in the little wobbles, and boy, does she look amazing. So that is, I think, a tool that you can use, and again, we can always overuse it, but it does not push the pixels around. It's just lightening and darkening the tones, and it helps smooth out the face. And so I do this all the time, even on guys. I mean, you know, it's even characters like the old Harley riders that I do, I'll fix a few little things like that. But by going small, my eye will pick up something I didn't see. So keep zooming in and out, and you'll see things that you wouldn't see normally. And so there you have a very simple technique that I think is underutilized in the retouching world. And just give you one last little thing. There are other ways you can do dodge and burns, making curves. I know all that. People are probably going to send me emails and say, you can make 2 curves, a highlight curve and a shadow curve and all this stuff. Yes, and there's some really cool, sophisticated ways to do dodge and burn. This is the simplest way. I still use this. The only time this creates an issue is if I dodge. If I dodge really, really, really long, it starts to change. Even though I have protect tones, there'll be a little bit of yellowing or something that might happen. So what I often do is I'll get it to a certain point, I will create another one, and then maybe work on that area again. But if you can't, there is a limit how far you can dodge and burn before maybe something starts to show up. So in this case, none of that showed up. So it's not overly doing it, but just to keep you note that. So obviously I would throw the black and white layer away, wouldn't use that, and then move on. I would fix a few other little things, maybe fix the hair a little bit, final levels and all that stuff if I was to go and call this a finished product. But at least you get a chance to see. The before is here, and there is the after. So don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and hit that little bell, and then you can keep up with all my current content.